Imagine an underground chamber, like a cave, with a long entrance open to the daylight, and as wide as the cave. In this chamber are men who have been prisoners there since they were children, their legs and necks being so fastened that they can only look straight ahead of them, and cannot turn their heads. Some way off, behind and higher up, a fire is burning, and between the fire and the prisoners, and above them, runs a road in front of which a curtain wall has been built, like the screen at puppet shows between the operators and their audience, above which they show their puppets. Imagine further that there are men carrying all sorts of gear along behind the curtain wall, projecting above it and including figures of men and animals made of wood and stone and all sorts of other materials, and that some of these men, as you would expect, are talking, and some are not. And so, in every way, they would believe that the shadows of the objects we mentioned were the whole truth. Yes, inevitably. Then think what would naturally happen to them if they were released from their bonds and cured of their delusions. Suppose one of them were let loose and suddenly compelled to stand up and turn his head and look and walk towards the fire. All these actions would be painful, and he would be too dazzled to see properly the objects of which he used to see the shadows. What do you think he would say if he was told that what he used to see was so much empty nonsense, and that he was now nearer reality and seeing more correctly, because he was turned towards objects that were more real? And if, I went on, he were forcibly dragged up the steep and rugged ascent and not let go till he had been dragged out into the sunlight? First, he would find it easiest to look at shadows. Next, at the reflections of men and other objects in water, and later on at the objects themselves. After that, he would find it easier to observe the heavenly bodies and the sky itself at night, and to look at the light of the moon and stars rather than at the sun and its light by day. The thing he would be able to do last would be to look directly at the sun itself and gaze at it without using reflections in water or any other medium, but as it is in itself. That must come last.